Welcome to this video on a month of mindfulness, a short video series of monotangles in black and white with the emphasis on the here and now with a pen. I'm just using today my Micron Pigma Fine pen, a pencil and a tortillon. Today's tangle is suitable if you only have a couple of minutes, as it will bring your focus right back in very quickly with very simple lines and a repetitive nature. I'm talking about the tangle Tripoli. I find that in just a very few, very simple elements, which don't need to be done big or fancy, I can bring a steady influence and calm. So we're just going to start right away with our pens. And somewhere in the middle, doesn't need to be exactly the middle of your tile, just draw yourself a dot. And then we're going to build it into a triangle. So somewhere else on the tile, I'll add another two dots to make 3. And then very simply rotate your tile, take your pen and join from one dot to the next. Rotate your tile again and join from one dot to the next. Rotate your tile again and join from one dot to the first one again. And we have our simple triangle. 3 dots, 3 lines, and then one aura. Just aura a line that already exists and add 1 dot. And simply follow the same process to join your 2 ends of your aura to the new dot. Where you have a line, aura the line. Do 1 dot and join your aura ends to your dots. We keep going in exactly the same fashion, giving ourselves 1 aura, 1 dot, and join the ends of the auras to your dot. Each time using a previous triangle with which to choose where to draw your next aura. Of course we can go in straight lines, but we can also stick on a curve. It just means that when you come to do your next aura, it too will be a curve. And we'll slowly build up the tangle as we go, just really focusing on your aura, on your dot, and your line between. If you have 2 triangles that are quite close together, you might choose to aura both sides, and then just have 1 line to join the ends. And slowly you find you fill up your tile or your section in this very simple tangle. If you think that your curve is going to be too big, just split it into 2 different triangles. I like to have curves on mine, although I'm limited by my tile's edge here. It kind of has to be straight. Although if you find that you've got the odd extra, I've just left this little section here with which to do my mark, my chop at the end. And my last triangle here is going to be all 3 auraing until I've finished here. Once you've filled up your section, no matter if your lines are straight or curves, doesn't matter what numbers or difference or shapes or sizes they are, it will still work. This base method holds this tangle together, and it can now be embellished and shaded in so many different ways. So if you have more than a couple of minutes, just join me here, and I'm just going to do a lovely little stroke, as I like to call my little seagull or my little flying bird, as if they're flying out in the sky. And on each of my straight aura lines, I'm going to draw my little seagull, my little flying bird. It doesn't matter whether your lines are straight or curved, this little line will still work. If, however, you want to do your own embellishment to Tripoli, you're most welcome to do so. Some people like to do each triangle with the same embellishment. Other people just like to follow along to an angle on a line and do the same lines the other way. Perhaps you find it easier to draw this element stroke the other way round. Go with whatever works for you, with deliberate lines, just heading from the wingtip to the body to the wingtip, the wingtip to the body to the wingtip, inside each of your Tripoli triangles. Just listen only to the delicate sound of your pen, just touching down on the paper. Really helps you focus on the task in hand. Until you've filled all of your Tripoli with this embellishment, or the one that you've chosen to do. Then we'll pop down our pens and add our shading. I'll grab my pencil here, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of graphite just in the points of my Tripoli, just as I like to say where the lines have got a little busy. And you can either choose to put a little bit of graphite in each Tripoli triangle. Oh, this is when I find I've missed some. That's okay. I'll gently switch back to my pen and throw those lines in. And perhaps do another double check that I haven't missed another one. Then gently rotate your tile a little bit if it helps you push your graphite into exactly the points of the triangle where the lines are busy. Or perhaps you'll shade in a slightly different way if you chose to embellish your Tripoli in a slightly different way. For more focus, I tend to do the same repeat over and over again in a little section, but you're most welcome to do different embellishments as you go along. And then I might choose to pick up my tortillon and gently push the graphite into the texture of the paper. I tend, when I'm doing this, to do one triangle at a time, just gently rotating the tile as I go. If you're working in a journal perhaps, and it's not quite so easy to move the tile around, then perhaps you want to just concentrate on one area where all the Tripoli join, and just gently rotate, leaving things in the same area, and so you don't have to rotate your tile, or your journal, as much. Whichever works for you. There's more than one way to shade, as we know. We can just go inside or outside of a line, an element, a tangle, or a section. And once you've done your shading, one area that's sometimes forgotten with Tripoli is the little spaces, the little lanes between all the triangles. So I'm just going to do a little scruffy orb just in the middle of each of these, just to give this tile a little bit of drama, but not too much, and take away from the tangling and the embellishing that I've already done. Finally, once I think I've got all my tile finished, I'll gently add my chop into a little corner, or perhaps within one of those Tripoli triangles. And I can look round and admire, see if there's a best way up or a different way up. I'm actually quite happy with that way. Two other options here. One thing not to forget is you can always join your triangles with little bridges or put the shading within those lanes that I was talking about. If, however, you only have a few moments, then perhaps you just do a simple orb of triangles, Tripolis on the outside edge, so it almost looks like a beautiful little flower. And I've simply used a tiny bit of shading and a tiny bit of hatching to finish this one off today. So many different ways to play with this tangle. Often I just choose one idea and repeat it if I'm looking for a little bit more focus than usual. I hope you've had fun.